In 2025, Starlink generated 11 times more profit than SpaceX's rocket business. 11 times. When I saw that number in the S-1, the official IPO document filed with the SEC, I had to stop. So I went to understand why. And what I found made me think about a restaurant. Imagine you open a restaurant. The restaurant becomes world famous. The chef is a celebrity. Every new dish makes the news. But at the end of the year, when you look at the numbers, the real money isn't coming from the restaurant. It's coming from the parking lot. That's exactly what SpaceX's S-1 shows. This video is a reading of that document. Every number I mention comes directly from the S-1 filed with the SEC in June 2026. This is not investment advice. We follow the data. SpaceX is, without question, one of the most recognized companies in the world. Falcon 9, Starship, NASA contracts, the International Space Station, Mars, Elon Musk. When people think SpaceX, they think rockets. So here's the question worth asking. What does SpaceX actually sell? The S-1 reveals that the company operates three segments: space, the rockets, connectivity, which is Starlink, and AI, which includes X and XAI. In 2025, the revenue split looked like this. The rocket business brought in $4.1 billion. That's the business the world talks about: the launches, the boosters landing themselves back on the pad. Starlink brought in $11.4 billion, the product that most people couldn't even tell you SpaceX owns. The satellite internet service generated almost 3 times the revenue of the rockets. But revenue is only half the story, and honestly, it's the less interesting half. There's a concept in business that separates companies that look profitable from companies that actually are. It's called EBITDA, and the simplest way to understand it is this. After you pay everyone, after you run the operation, what's left? Think of it like your salary. Your gross income is what your employer pays you. Your EBITDA is what's left after rent, food, and the car payment. In 2025, the rocket business generated $653 million in EBITDA. Starlink generated $7.2 billion. Not twice as much, not 5 times as much, 11 times more. And the margin on Starlink, the percentage that stays as profit, was 63%. To put that in context, imagine you open a coffee shop. For every dollar you bring in, 63 cents stay in your pocket after paying for coffee, milk, the barista, and the rent. That's not a coffee shop. That's a money printer. For a business that has to physically launch satellites into space to deliver its service, a 63% margin is extraordinary. There is no clean comparison in any industry I know. And the question that immediately follows is this growing, or is this a one-year anomaly? In 2023, Starlink had 2.3 million subscribers. In 2024, 4.4 million. That's growth of 91% in 1 year. In 2025, 8.9 million, another 100%. In Q1 of 2026 alone, Starlink crossed 10.3 million subscribers, growing at 105% year over year. This is not a company that found a niche. This is a company that found a market that barely existed before it created the infrastructure to serve it. Now here's the number that looks wrong at first glance. The average revenue per subscriber fell from $99 in 2023 to $66 in Q1 2026, a 33% drop in 3 years. If you heard that about any subscription business, you'd be concerned. But Starlink's revenue nearly tripled in the same period. How? Picture a bucket with a small hole in the bottom. The hole is the average price dropping, but someone is filling the bucket faster than it drains. That's the subscriber growth. They are deliberately pricing lower to enter new markets: Africa, Southeast Asia, Latin America, places where $99 a month is simply not accessible. This is not a broken model. This is a land grab, and the land they're grabbing is the entire planet. So the obvious question, if this business is this good, why isn't everyone doing it? The answer is not technology. The answer is not capital. The answer is physics and time. To compete with Starlink at scale, you need to put hundreds of satellites into low Earth orbit, repeatedly, at a cost low enough to make the economics work. Today, 75% of all active maneuverable satellites in orbit are Starlink satellites. SpaceX conducted 170 launches in 2025. No other organization came close to a third of that number. The cost to put 1 kilogram into orbit fell from $54,000 in the early 2000s to under $2,000 with the reusable Falcon 9. It's like owning a restaurant and also owning the only farm that grows the ingredients at a fraction of what your competitors pay. Amazon's Kuiper exists. OneWeb exists. But neither of them launches their own rockets. Neither of them has Starlink's cost structure. And neither of them has 10 million subscribers. That infrastructure took 20 years and $9 billion to build. You don't replicate that in a business cycle. But here's the number that stops every serious investor cold. SpaceX's free cash flow in 2025 was negative $13.9 billion. That's a lot of money going out. And for a company valued at close to $2 trillion, that question demands an honest answer. So let's open the hood. Where did the capital investment actually go in 2025? The rocket business, $3.8 billion. Starlink, $4.2 billion. AI, the data centers for XAI, $12.7 billion. Add the first two together. Space and Starlink consumed $8 billion. The company's operating cash flow was $6.8 billion. Those two core businesses are essentially self-funding while still growing. The $12.7 billion going to AI, that's a separate bet. Incorporated into this company's structure in February 2026, weeks before the IPO. The cash burn is not coming from Starlink. It's coming from an AI bet attached to this structure before they went public. That doesn't mean the bet is wrong, but it means you need to understand what you're actually analyzing. Let me be clear about what the S-1 proves and what it doesn't. What it proves? In 2025, Starlink generated a 63% margin. It grew 100% per year. It reached 164 countries, and it produced more than 90% of the entire company's operating profit. Those are facts from a primary document filed with the SEC. What is still a bet, whether the average revenue per subscriber will stabilize or keep falling. Whether Amazon turns Kuiper into a real competitor. Whether a 300 times EBITDA multiple, what a $2 trillion valuation implies, is justified by what this company can become. Honest analysis means holding both at the same time. So let's go back to the restaurant. The rockets are the kitchen. They're what built the reputation. They're what made SpaceX, SpaceX. Without the rockets, there is no Starlink. But in 2025, the parking lot generated $7.2 billion with a 63% margin. The kitchen generated $653 million. The world keeps watching the kitchen. The show is genuinely impressive. But the investors who understand this company are watching the parking lot. And the question the S-1 doesn't answer is this: what happens when Starship makes launches 10 times cheaper? That 63% margin doesn't stay at 63%. It goes higher. And then the question is no longer how much SpaceX is worth. The question is, are you looking at the right company?